Hi everybody, hope you're safe and well, and in this video I want to discuss a little further the picking techniques we talked about in part 1, chapter 11, Disler, and take that a little further in the application. Look at it on paper, the kind of question I might ask on an exam, or how to figure out a piece or a accompaniment pattern on paper, something you might see and you figure out the fingering for it. This is a great way to look at a chord progression and not have to write everything out if you figure out a set pattern you want to play, and you can use it as an accompaniment throughout the piece and just read the chords. So I have a couple things written down here that we'll take a quick look at before I demonstrate a couple of pieces. And I want you to take a look at this. Again, it's just some pieces of information here. The time signature is 4/4. So if I have 8 fingers plucking here, or 8 individual markings of my picking hand, that means we're going to be playing 2 picked notes per beat. So these are 1/8 notes basically with the beam on them, and I would be counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and so that's why I have 8 indications here for 4/4 time. Okay, remember this is like pattern 2 that she discusses on page 64, showing that you can do 2 notes per beat. So think about this. The chord is A minor. You should know the root string of A minor, whether you're doing using a pick or your fingers. I've been asking you to mark the roots on strings, and you should know that has a 5th string root. And your thumb's job is to always play the root right now. So I'm going to mark in the 5th string underneath the P letter. So the question I would be asking you is, what string does each finger play? Remember, the rules are: thumb plays the root, index stays on the 3rd string, middle stays on the 2nd string, and ring finger stays on the 1st string. So this is the only one moving from 6 to 5 to 4. You have to be able to determine what the root string is, right? So 6, 5, or 4, 3, 2, and 1. So wherever I have index on this sheet, I'm going to put my 3rd string down. The question again is, what string is plucked for each of these fingers? Index always plays the 3rd string. And again, this information can be found on page 62 and 63 in the Disler chapters I've sent out to you or that are posted on D2L. So middle would be my next problem to figure out here. What string does middle play? Well, it always plays 2. So wherever there's an M, I'm going to put 2, and then the last finger left is the A finger, which is string number 1. So this pattern is going to be 5 for thumb, index plays 3rd, middle plays 2nd, ring plays 1st. Then thumb plucks again on the 6th string root, and then 3rd for index, 2nd for middle, and 1st string. Oh, it goes back to index there, so 3rd string for index. So it's P-I-M-A, P-I-M-I. 5, 3, 2, 1, 5, 3, 2, 3. So on the guitar, that would sound something like this. I'll just play open strings again. 5, 3, 2, 1, 5, 3, 2, 3. Now I'll apply the A minor chord down on the fretboard. 5, 3, 2, 1, 5, 3, 2, 3. 5, 3, 2, 1, 5, 3, 2, 3. Okay, so again, you just have to remember a couple of things to kind of get going with this finger picking. P is thumb, and then what's its job? It plays the root. Index is stuck on the, for lack of a better term, is staying on the G string. M is staying on the B string, and A is staying on the high E. So if we look at one more example, again, just to kind of walk you through this, if the chord is G and I'm in 3/4 time, so now I'm playing 2 notes for every beat. Again, I'm playing 2 plucks for every beat. The G chord has a root on, think about it for a second, the 6th string. So wherever there's a P, I'm going to write the 6th string down. Again, the question would be, here's a fingering, tell me, here's a fingering and a chord, tell me what strings are going to be plucked. Index always stays on the 3rd string. And then I have a little variation happening here. P-I-M, P-I-A. P-I-M, that would be 2nd string for middle. P-I-A, that would be 1st string. So P is 6, 3rd string is plucked by the index finger, 2nd string is plucked by the middle. Again, the chord is G, so 6th root, index is on 3, and A is on 1. And if I played that example with the G chord, I'll do it on open strings first. P, I, M, P, I, A. 1 and 2 and 3 and... Oh, I had played a wrong pattern there. P, I, M, P, I, A. P, I, M, P, I, A. On the G chord, P, I, M, P, I, A. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. So again, I want you to be able to tell me, if I give you a fingering and a chord, what string numbers will be played. I'll play a couple of short examples in the second half of this video now, just to give you an idea of what's happening. On page 65 of these PDFs, or if you're looking at a hard copy of the book, we see the Riddle Song, and there are some slash chords in the Riddle Song, and it's worth talking about simply what they mean. A slash chord has a letter name, which is the chord you're playing, and then a forward slash, and then another letter name. And that is actually the lowest bass tone. So for example, this one does a G chord with D in the bass. So not all of these examples use slash chords, but that's the first one she throws out on page 65. And the pattern is basically 1 note per string and per beat. So I'm playing P, I, M, A. So that pattern is P, I, M, A, and the first chord given is D. So I'm playing 4, 3, 2, 1. And then there's a G chord with D in the bass, so I'm going to play 4 instead of 6. So this is my special bass note, as she refers to it in the chapter. 4, 3, 2, 1. There is one more slash chord in here. It's an E minor with an A in the bass. Okay, so I'm going to slowly play through this example. 3, 4, D, 4th in the bass. G slash D, D in the bass for a G chord. Notice I don't have to play the bass there. It repeats that. One more measure, and now to D. A7, 5th in the bass. D, 4th in the bass. Another measure of D. A major. A7, 5th in the bass for both of those chords. D, 4th in the bass. D7, 4, 3, 2, 1, G chord, 6, 3, 2, 1, E minor, 6, 3, 2, 1, E minor slash A, open A in the bass, 5th string again for A7 and D. So those slash chords, don't let them throw you off. You just play your regular chord, but you're changing the bass note to, again, she uses that term, special bass note. So you can move your thumb to that particular string. Our rule, and I won't try and throw you off on an exam or any questions, will be keep the root in the bass. So I'll give you another example here. I really like this one. If you want to work on your finger picking skills and you get some of the basics down, Greensleeves on page 66 has got a pattern in 3/4 time where you're playing thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index. Thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index. So that means root note, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. Bass note, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. These are the strings I'm naming now. P-I-M-A-M-I. So again, on open strings, it's a pretty pattern no matter what chord you put it on. That gives me the E minor sound. So I'll play through this one. It's got E minor, D, C, B7, and a G chord, I believe. 1 and 2 and 3 and 6th in the bass for E minor, and 2, D in the bass, C in the bass, B7, E minor, P-I-M-A-M-I, P-I-M-A-M-I, D, 4th in the bass, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, C chord, 5th in the bass, B7, 5th in the bass, E minor, G, 6th in the bass, D chord, 4th in the bass for D, 5th in the bass for C, 5th in the bass for B7, G chord, 6th in the bass, D chord, 4th in the bass, C chord, B7, E minor, 6th in the bass. So again, my fingers keep repeating that pattern, but like, for example, in the end here, I play 5th for C with my thumb, 5th for B7, and E minor. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a better idea of how these applications of these finger picking patterns work. Pay special attention to the beginning of the video where we talk about what number string is played for each finger. Have a great day, guys.